up next, we have Amanda. And before then, I just want to remind everyone that bidding is still open. We might close it early, maybe around 6:50. So let's keep on bidding before then. So Amanda, you can go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Swanton and I am a member of Pledge Class 2021 this year. I can go back to recruitment and remember the number one thing that drew me into Alpha Phi was their philanthropy. I'm going to tell you my story. When I was 16 years old, I was your typical girl. I was just focused on what movie I was going to that weekend, what slumber party I was going to. My brother was my best friend. We did everything together. I was a huge theater nerd. I basically had the most normal life possible. And then one day in October 2014, that all was taken away from me. I was in US history class, just minding my business, taking notes, and all of a sudden I felt really sick. Either that I was gonna vomit or I was gonna have to run out of the room because I have an emergency. Something definitely wasn't right. And then I just remember everything went black. And I woke up to my teacher trying to revive me. I had passed out, or in medical terms, I had a fainting spell. And that was the first of many, over a dozen actually. I went to doctor after doctor after doctor with my family. We tried to figure out what was happening. They would happen anywhere, at school, at show choir practice. It was getting out of control. And finally, after going 14 months of being undiagnosed, I was diagnosed with post-serial orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, abbreviated as POTS. POTS is a clinical syndrome in your heart that basically makes you have a rapid heart rate and controls so much more in your body than you think. A lot of symptoms of POTS can be headaches, fainting spells that can turn into seizure-like activity, stomach aches, abdominal migraines. The list could go on and on. And since POTS is a syndrome, everybody's POTS is different. So now, as a 17-year-old girl there, I was told by my doctor it's the hardest thing to treat and the hardest thing to diagnose. And it made me realize how much of a burden I was going to be to my family for the rest of my life. My family was going to be constantly taking care of me and making sure I was okay. And I remember for those 3 months after I got diagnosed, every day I would look up and find a new fact about POTS syndrome. I found out that over 3 million people globally suffer from POTS, and it's just as common as multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease combined. However, there's little to no treatment funding for it, so it goes unnoticed. What really got me was 85% of patients are misdiagnosed prior to receiving a POTS diagnosis, and 25% are going to be disabled from their illness. To me, I thought that just was unfair. It was unfair for everybody suffering, and I wanted to make a difference. So I sat down and I told my parents that I wanted to start a foundation to help find a cure for POTS. And right away, my mother and father had stepped up, and we are 5 years old, and we are known as the A85 Cure Foundation. Our goal is to advocate for POTS research funding and for awareness. We work with Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's because Lurie Children's diagnosed me and they saved my life. And we also have footsteps in Blair E. Baston's Children's Hospital, Mississippi, with their POTS center there. All of this has impacted my life so much. And through the past 5 years now of me having a diagnosis and having this foundation, every day with my heart is different and everything is something new. I kind of call my heart crazy and I call it unruly because I never know what's going to happen. But I do think my heart is beautiful, and I think it's what makes me me. My crazy little unruly heart has led me to do so many things that have made me so much braver and such a well-rounded person. It's made me more empathetic towards people who are going through similar situations and people suffering from chronic illness. It's made me want to step out and put myself out there and live every moment to its fullest. And last but not least, my unruly heart has led me home to Alpha Phi. I cannot describe the feeling I get around my sisters and how supported I feel by them every day, and how cardiovascular disease in women is so popular and needs to be advocated for. Going through recruitment, I remember having that moment where this is the home for me, this is the place, and I knew Alpha Phi was the only place I wanted to run home to. So thank you all for hearing my story, and please continue to donate to the Alpha Phi Foundation. What they're doing is changing lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing your story.